Hey everyone. A while ago, one of you asked me how to talk to strangers or how to approach strangers. So that will be the subject of this video. And I truly don't believe this topic is nearly as complicated as most people make it out to be. I believe you really only need basically three things to connect with strangers, and that is one, to be genuine and authentic, two, to just literally walk up and say hi, just introduce yourself in some way, and then three, to just speak to something in your immediate environment. That's literally all you need if you ask me. So being genuine and authentic is huge in my opinion, because a lot of people like to memorize like canned lines or things to say to people, especially when it comes to like guys approaching women they find attractive. A lot of guys will find forums or other advice out there that kind of tells them to learn these or to memorize these lines to then spew at women. But I just don't believe that's a great way of connecting with others, because you're not being genuine when you do that. You're using these fake lines that you've memorized that some other guy created before you, and maybe those lines are more fitted to him because of his level of confidence and his personality, but they may not be fitted to you. So if you say them, it can come off incongruent, because women are going to know that you aren't exactly the kind of man who would normally feel comfortable saying that thing. There's going to be a disconnect between what you say and the energy that you embody. And people will pick up on that, not just women. So that's why I believe the most important thing here is to just be genuine, be authentic. Do not memorize lines and spew them at the person you're talking to. None of that crap. Remember, all you really need is to just introduce yourself. That's why that's, I guess, bullet point number 2 or item number 2 on my list here, which is just introduce yourself in some way. You really don't need to think that through a whole lot. You don't need to think about like, oh, I need to tell this woman that I find her beautiful and that she speaks to me and no, none of that crap. Just go up to her and say, hi, I'm Josh. What's your name? That's all you need to say. It's that simple. And that works with anyone across the board, any person that you want to talk to, where when you're going about your day, just say hi, hello, how's it going? Just greet them in some way. And if you are trying to make a new friend or trying to talk to someone you find attractive that you're hoping to date, that's when you can then introduce yourself and say, hi, how's it going? I'm Josh. What's your name? But if it's just like a stranger that you're passing while you're walking from point A to point B, you can just say, hi, how's it going? You don't need to introduce yourself and ask them what their name is, but it's just a way of greeting them. The more that you get into the habit of just talking to strangers in general, it makes it easier to do so many different things in life, and it makes life more fun, because then you'll be able to enjoy yourself no matter where you are, because you'll have the ability to talk to everyone you encounter. And obviously that will help you when it comes to talking to people that you find attractive, when it comes to approaching, let's say for all the guys out there, the women that you find interesting or attractive. The more that you talk to strangers, the more that you're basically practicing to talk to the attractive woman. But if you make the mistake of only talking to people you're attracted to or interested in, well, now you're not getting all that practice. So it's going to be super difficult to talk to an attractive woman if you don't talk to, say, the old man passing you on the street or the older lady. If you don't talk to anyone, then you're not getting any of that practice. It's like taking a math test when you're not even doing math problems every day leading up to the test. Like, you're going to fail that test if you don't practice for it. So practice your social skills. Talk to everyone you encounter. And a tip that I have for helping you interact with other people is that tip number 3, which is speak to the environment that you're in. So, for instance, that would mean basically if you're at a grocery store waiting in line with someone else behind you, you could turn to them and say, hey, I hope your day is going well and that it's been more eventful than us waiting in line at the grocery store, because clearly this is not that exciting, or something like that, where you're just basically speaking to the environment that you're in. Or if you're at a bookstore, you could say, what kind of books are you interested in? And that sort of thing, where you're basically just touching on something in the environment that you're in. It's a pretty useful tip for anything, because it helps you connect with everyone. I've even learned that for job interviews, it's helpful to speak to the environment if you're in like a physical job interview. I know COVID times are kind of different. Like the last few interviews I've done were all virtual, but if you do ones that are in person or if it's a virtual one, but you can see some of the things in the environment that the interviewer is in, you can speak to that. For instance, if somebody has like a football trophy on their desk and you can say, hey, like, are you into football? What's your favorite team? It just helps you connect with someone if you speak to things that are surrounding you. It's kind of like a helpful way of starting a conversation. Like, you can even talk about the weather. That's one of the more common things that people do, but of course that is more small talky. But you get what my point is here. Speaking to the environment is just a helpful way of breaking the ice with someone, and it helps you find a subject that both of you can talk about, because you can both see what's in your immediate environment, right? So it's going to help you connect with the other person. And also, depending on the environment that you're meeting people in, it can even tell you a few things about them. Going back to that bookstore example, if you're, say, going to a bookstore to buy a book, but you see an attractive woman while you're there, well, now you can probably assume a few things about her. You can assume that she may be a bit more intellectual because she likes reading books. You can assume she may be a bit more creative, yet again, because she likes reading books, and that has a lot of like imagining the environments in your head if you're reading more like fiction type books. When people read fiction, they're basically creating movies in their mind, right? So that's a creative thing to do. So it tells you that person's probably creative, intellectual, and that they may be a bit more introverted, because that is kind of a hobby that introverts tend to like as well. So knowing all that gives you talking points that you can use with that other person. So if you do talk to an attractive woman at a bookstore, you can say, hey, I'm guessing you're probably a bit more intellectual, maybe a bit more introverted. Am I right about any of that, or am I just completely BSing? And there you go. That's a fun way of starting a conversation with an attractive woman at a bookstore. Just finding that, or thinking about what does your environment tell you about that person? But obviously that won't work across the board, because if you're at a grocery store, that doesn't really tell you much about that other person, except that they need to buy their groceries that day. But yeah, you guys get what I mean here. So that's, if you ask me, those 3 tips are really all you need to connect with someone. Just be genuine and authentic and introduce yourself in some way. It doesn't need to be well thought out. You can literally just say, hi, how's it going? And if you would like to make a new friend or get them out on a date with you, then you can just say, I'm Josh, what's your name? Obviously say your actual name. Don't say I'm Josh if your name isn't Josh. But yeah, that's really all you need to do. And it's fun. Oh, of course, the third thing is just speak to the environment. But it's fun when you do this, because it opens up all these different doors to you. For instance, when you approach people that you're interested in, that you find attractive, and you get good at that, you can actually find out that you can invite people on dates pretty early on in talking to them. Sometimes you can talk to someone for less than 10 minutes and realize, hey, this person would be great to go on a date with, and you can ask them out right then and there. Or even sometimes you'll find out that they don't have anything else going on for the rest of their day. So you can invite them out on a date right there and now. Like, that is such a fun thing to do, where when you first meet someone that you're interested in, you can immediately go on a date with them and say, hey, like, what are your plans for the rest of the day? And if they tell you, oh, I don't really have anything going on, then you can say, hey, let's go to a coffee shop, or let's go for a walk. Let's do something, whatever it may be. And you can invite them out on a date right then and there. And it's a beautiful way of connecting with someone. So I highly suggest just getting into the habit of talking to everyone who comes across your path. It helps you so much in life. It just helps you boost your social skills so that it's not so scary and difficult to talk to people that you're interested in. I used to, when I lived with my parents back in LA, well, I still live in LA, but a different part of LA, I used to go for walks almost every single day, and I would make a point to talk to everyone that I passed during my walk. Like, everyone, no matter who they were, no matter if I was attracted to them or not, no matter if it was a man or a woman, or even like a teenager versus like an old person, I would talk to everyone I encountered. And it was fun. I would literally, most often I would just say, hey, how's it going? Or I'd just say, hey, hello, whatever it may be. I would just acknowledge them in some way. And sometimes I would even make a point to compliment them based on my first thought about them. So if I like their shoes, their shirt, whatever it may be, their hair, their energy, their vibe, I would say that. And it just led to a lot of beautiful mini connections with other people, where I would just brighten their day and make them smile and light up. And then we'd go our separate ways. But it was a fun thing to do. So I highly suggest just getting in the habit of talking to everyone you encounter, and maybe go for walks if you are able to do that and you're not living in an area where that may not be the best idea to do. But just find ways to talk to other people, and it'll help you work on your social skills and get to a place where you can talk to anyone you encounter, which makes life so much more fun. So give it a try. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much all I have for you in this video. So if you enjoy content like this, be sure to subscribe. Otherwise, like the video. It's the easiest way you can help me out. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know if you have any tips for other people. But try to stay away from sharing like lines that people can memorize, because I don't really think that's the most useful thing out there. But everything else is fair game. So if what am I gonna say? Oh, the way I was in the videos is, remember, guys, we're all on this journey together. So the most important thing here is that you just keep going, keep moving forward. I mean, seriously, that really is the most important thing. And if you're working on your social skills, then just practice it every day. Even if you only talk to one person a day, like that's more than enough. That's all you need. Just practice every single day. And over time, those little interactions will add up, and you'll become like a social wizard, and you'll be able to talk to anyone. And that will open up so many doors to you, not just for finding people to go on dates with, but also career-wise, because you'll have the social skills to talk to anyone. So that will make you useful on the job. And yeah, there's so many benefits to it. So practice it as much as possible and just take it day by day. We're all growing together. But anyway, guys, I truly hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Arrivederci.